Hey everybody, I'm Max. Welcome to the channel. I do continuous travel, and a lot of the videos I post on here are for documenting and sharing my experience, as well as giving some reviews on products that I use or have used or whatnot along the way. So today I'm doing a review on the Peak Design Everyday Backpack 20 liter version 2. And as you probably see by the title of this video, this is kind of a change up for me. This was going to be an updated review of using the Zip series 20 liter for, an extended amount of time, but things changed up, let's just say. I wasn't very thrilled with that bag, kind of from the beginning. There were definitely some failures, and I'm not even 100% sure. I kind of think that I might have had a defective bag, but I was going to stick it out with the bag actually, and then I stopped into a store, started talking with the salesman at the store and looking at the bags that they had there, and kind of felt like maybe I should reach out to Peak Design. And in the normal fashion of Peak Design, their customer service was phenomenal. They took care of me. I was lucky to be in a position, because traveling continuously, shipping things can be quite a hassle. That was the biggest reason why I figured, well, I'm just gonna have to stick it out with the bag and see how things go. But all worked out. So I did have to pay for shipping. Luckily it was, I'm over in Europe and I only had to ship it over to the UK. So that cost me, a little bit of money, but ultimately, as I was talking with some friends about this, the Zip 20 liter bag, I was probably about 30% happy with. And I was doing some more research trying to figure out, was I really going to be happy enough with this new bag? Because this MagLatch series, the original Everyday Backpack, I didn't go with it early on because I really wasn't into the design so much. But weighing all of my options and needing a bag, I figured that I was probably going to be somewhere in the 70% happy with it range. And I think that's great, actually. There's no perfect bag, so just do what you can with, what you got, I guess. And you notice the bag right here, there's probably something you notice right off the bat if you've been looking at this bag before. And that will be, there's no zipper pulls here. What I've done is I went ahead and tucked them away. So this would be the normal look, which for me, I was really a deterrent. I can't stand these things. That was one of my problems with my Zip 20 liter bag too, was the way that the zippers were really designed to go up top. Anyway, also go check out that other video on the Zip if you want to kind of get more in depth. This is going to be kind of a comparison of that one versus the version 2 of their standard everyday bag. And it's just my experience with this thing. So hopefully this helps you guys. Anyways, going back to this, I am really surprised because tucking this in was actually an idea that I had gotten from Peak Design's travel line backpack. It's one that I picked up off their Kickstarter campaign for it. The travel line series, it was like the original kickoff to that. Now they've got duffels and other things, but the original backpack, their zippers on the side actually have a way to tuck away. And the thing about those was that the loop where this zipper pull, just kind of floats, actually goes around the front a little bit. Unfortunately, these zippers don't have that, but they still do it all right, let's just say. And when I pull this in here, there's been a little bit of creep. Every once in a while I gotta push it back in there, but I mean, the fact that I got the idea from one of Peak Design's bags, it's surprising that they didn't integrate it into this bag, especially on their version 2 here. Everybody, or there's a lot of reviews out there that talk about not liking that, and they don't even utilize the zippers at the top. They always just stay up, and everybody's using the bottom zips, which I totally agree with. That's the way I use the bag myself. So anyways, I hope that in the version 3 they do that. Ultimately, it's still a little jetpack kind of a look of a bag for me personally, but it definitely, like I said, I'm about 70% happy with it. It's a bag that is working for me. This strap up top, yeah, I see why they moved it up here. The other one, it used to be back along the back side. It's still sticking up like that. It's a little goofy looking to me. The expansion of this bag, I don't like it to go anywhere further than the second. Once you fill this out and it kind of goes gets bulbous or whatever, when I'm traveling from one place to another, that's a lot of the time exactly how it is. I fill this thing up pretty well. Right now, I've just got the minimal stuff like I do it on a day-to-day basis when I'm traveling, just going out to take some pictures and whatnot. So I don't have my laptop in here or anything. So this look is okay, but to me, you've got 4 levels here, and there's just no way that I ever want to fill this thing up. It was a big debate for me going 20 liter or 30 liter, but when I was looking at these in the store, that 30 liter is just too big. The dimensions of this bag are pretty good. If you see in my zip review, that bag is taller. It's almost as tall as the 30 liter, but yet it's rather narrow. Even though on the website, they actually list this one as more narrow than the 20 liter zip. If you look at these two in the store side by side, you're going to notice, I wish I could have got some footage of that actually to include here. They definitely, I don't know exactly where they're taking their measurements, how they're doing that. There's got to be some method to it, but this one looks shorter and wider when you look at them side by side. Maybe it's an optical illusion thing. I really don't know. But the problem is it is thinner this way. So this backpack actually fits the requirements for the personal item carry-on for airlines pretty well. It actually could be deeper, and I don't think that you'd be questioned by any of the airlines if you had one. Now, of course, there's some airlines that all that goes out the window, but overall, yeah, this bag is nice. It's got a lot of the same things as the zip. So I mean, really, definitely go take a look at that other review. The handles, around the sides, all of these do feel pretty good. There's some padding to them. A couple of things about this bag versus the 20 liter zip. They have these magnets that hold the straps in place. And I found, I actually, when I first got the zip, I didn't realize that they were kind of trying to cut excess, like make it more of a minimal bag. They were, I guess, trying to cut costs, really. But to me, this is just, it's really, really nice. I mean, because those other straps, once you have them out here, they've got a good amount of padding, so they're comfortable. But it also makes them, just, I don't know, want to do their own thing. These magnets here, and you see, I even have the capture clip on here, and they hold pretty well. You actually have to give quite a bit of force to pull it off. Now, one thing I did get to use the sternum strap. If you look at my other review, I was mentioning how it kind of holds out towards the shoulders on me when I wear this bag, just like the 20 liter zip did. And so it made it for not the most comfortable carry when I'm going around like all day long. So I started utilizing the chest strap, the sternum strap, and definitely makes it more comfortable for longer term carry. But one thing I've noticed is that, as far as I understand, this is where you're supposed to tuck this thing. It doesn't grab it very well, so a lot of the time you got this thing flopping around out here. I know that you can just double it back and clip it in here and things like that. So it's just one of those little things. If you're bugged by little things, you might want to know about. But ultimately, it is a pretty comfortable bag. These magnets on the backpack straps, great. Really keeps it clean. I still wish that the luggage pass-through, another thing I mentioned in the other video, would come up through the middle. I think that there's, I definitely understand that it's because of their strap system, which they definitely take a lot of pride in, and it's a nice system, so, I understand that, but having a luggage pass through that goes sideways, it's just not ideal. I'm not a fan of it really at all. But I'd rather have one than not have any at all, because I do use a roller bag, so when I can take all the load off my shoulders, it's nice. But I hope that they're working on that for sure. Now, one of the other things about this bag, really, they didn't cut a lot of corners. The other bag was very similar again. The bottom down here, and this was something that they have on that travel line bag too, and I mentioned in my other video that I would have liked to see here. And this is actually so I have these lashing straps actually just secured on the side here. And you can just keep these. There's an area right down here inside. And you can tuck them in here so that they're accessible whenever you want them. And there's areas all around the bag. I'm not going to get into a lot of these specifics because if you're looking at this video, you probably want to know how a use is. But for me personally, I would really, really like to see them, again, a lot like their travel line backpack, they have a rain cover. Now this is a very weather resistant material, same as their travel line backpack. They have a rain cover that actually clips to these, has the same magnet and just tucks inside here. And with that one though, it's kind of a smaller package for a big bag. So I would rather them spread that out a little bit so it takes up the whole pocket. And I'm just wondering, hey, Peak Design, where is the rain cover for this bag? And then make one for the 30 liter as well. I'll buy the accessory because right now I'm carrying around a rain cover. And you can see this is just one I found at a store, so it's thicker. It's not a bad one, but I know the Peak Design's material for their rain cover is the thinner material, and I would love to go ahead and pick one up. Just one that will fit inside of this pocket down below. I honestly just can't understand why I haven't came up with one yet. Some of the other things though with this bag, I actually do have Peak Design's travel tripod. Issue with it is that it doesn't fit in this pocket very well. Peak Design travel tripod here, absolutely phenomenal. See the size of that thing? Just so small. I'm a person that the other tripods, even the most compact ones I had seen out there, were just too big for me to travel with. So now I'm finally having the opportunity to utilize a tripod while I'm out here traveling and get some really great pictures. But for me, I have Peak Design's little, dongles on here because I just utilize my neck strap for my camera and switch between the camera and this because you see how the bottom is just too tight. You can strap this through and get it to kind of hold it up here. But, because otherwise, you see it's going to flop out on you for sure. But remember, Peak Design made this look a lot easier to me. No spots there though, but yeah, I see you can cinch it down, and I guess you keep it this direction, but if it would just get, and The only reason I can do this is because I know that I don't have my camera on this side. That's another thing. If you had more expansion, then I don't even think I would worry too much about this. It would be easier, at least for sure. You make your pocket go up a little bit higher. Just think all around it would be better. So this way does block it from flopping around too much. And you can get into it, but it really starts to crush into the bag. So it's not ideal for anything, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, if I'm traveling around day use, when I'm going to set it up this way, I don't want to have too much in there, but it's just still not, I don't know. I personally I'm not digging it. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And yeah, are you having better luck than me with this? You see that's like, I don't know, pushing on like an inch off the bottom. And if I just had 1 more inch of settling, it wouldn't be so bad to me. I think even though there's some expansion to these, it's at the bottom, not having any expansion ability. I would love to see some, maybe even use a zipper. I'm not the biggest fan of those on other bags, but I think that it is a way to keep things clean and nice and tidy, but yet at the same time offer that expansion all the way around like this. So yeah, just not a fan of that. Another part of it, when we get to the inside here, again, I like the pockets, but I don't like the configuration of the pockets. I keep, because it fits just so perfectly in here, I keep my batteries, and actually normally on this other side, I'll either have my AirPods, or now I'm using the GoPro quite a bit. So I put a couple of batteries stacked up here, but you see that's where my screen is when I'm utilizing this bag. So it's going to be right on my screen. That means I definitely don't want to put the travel tripod in on this side. So just you have to be aware and put it on the other side. And yeah, I don't understand, because sure, there's other places to stow those batteries and whatnot, but those pockets are perfect for them. I don't know what else you were planning with that. And this is definitely the slot where you put your camera. So another part here, with the camera that I use here, this is the Sony 87 with the 24-105. And I was talking about this zip review, where I have to offset the shelf that I put this on, because I want it to be able to fit in here, right? This is obviously, nicely fit, but it makes so that I can't pop it down on this back side, because that door won't close anymore. Now, because of the design of these, I think that, that there's got to be a way, maybe make a secondary fold, or provide these bags with one of these shelves that just doesn't have quite the same, where instead of going all the way back here, maybe it just folds about halfway, because then we can have a little bit more maneuverability. I would much rather have this so that I could keep that shelf centered right where it is. And that is one thing that a lot of people talk about with these bags. Setting them up the first time can take quite a while to figure things out on where you want it. So you definitely don't want to go moving these shelves around, because it's a pain to get them back where you finally got them. This bag, honestly, don't even know why it comes with 3 of those dividers. The Zip 20 liter, again, it's a taller bag. And I think that I would have had a more reason to have 3 in there, but you only get 2. This bag, I actually ended up settling on putting the last shelf all the way at the bottom, so there's almost no use of underneath. I keep this foldable eyeglass case at the very bottom, but that could really just get tucked anywhere. Because if I spread these things out, you lose your functionality here. But not to say it's not useful for some people to have 3. What I'm getting at is that I think it would be much better for the 20-liter zip to get 3, maybe 15, leave it at just 2. But also one of the 3, if you can't make a secondary notch on each side, maybe just make it so that one of the 3 comes in and it only folds about half the distance of what these ones do right now. I think that would offer more options for a lot of us without really taking away from much of anything. If you agree or disagree, please drop it down in the comments below. Yeah, just other than that, the only other thing that I think I want to mention here is going to be the laptop and tablet compartment. As many other people are talking about, there just isn't enough room in here. That's where I think really the most useful, or it would be best served to give us a little bit more depth to this bag and give it to primarily, if not completely, to the laptop and tablet sleeve in here. I carry around a little Dell XPS 13-inch. It's a year or 2 old, but it's still one of the ones with pretty small bezels on it, and it's a rather small computer. Now, if I don't have anything really in here, it's not really a problem. But that, along with just a iPad mini, become really tight in here. And if I have this packed out and I'm going to go through security at the airport, and I don't think I overpack this thing. It's not bulging, and once again, when I pack it, I might get to that second MagLatch attachment point. That's it. I'm never bulging so bad I gotta set up anywhere but that. But and that's not like by stretching it or anything. It's just loading it pretty decent. But if I'm going through security, to get my tablet and my laptop out of here, it's gonna be a chore. This is just my 2 cents, allowing for some room to grow here with their version 3 when they come out with it. So I certainly hope that, and I don't doubt this for a second with Peak Design, they took a lot of people's suggestions and whatnot with making the second version, and hopefully they'll consider some of these things when they're making their third. Well, I hope that gave you some good information on making the decision for yourself on if this is going to be the proper bag for you. But as I always say, it's much better if you can go to a store and see this in person. I hope that a store near you has these. I've been just blown away by the awesome stores out in Europe. It seems like every city I've gone to, there's at least one, if not multiple, good camera stores. And Peak Design's got a good backing over here. And with that being said too, I hope I haven't been too critical. Obviously, I like Peak Design's products and also kind of the mentality of which way they go. They try to make things that are good and that people like and will get good total use out of. They do their part on sustainability, which I respect a great deal. They make some really good products. They work for some people, they don't work for others. With their Peak Design Zip, I would love to see them come out with maybe a pro version of the Peak Design Zip. Integrate the magnetic backpack straps, this little pouch at the bottom. Give us a rain cover, guys. Really, I would love to see that bag in, let's say, the travel line, shrunk down so that you have the zipper expansion, but at the same time so that maybe it'll expand wide, because you're going to have these awesome origami shelves for, to actually mount inside. You don't want to have those little cubes that you're buying extra stuff with. But the way that one had a zipper that kind of went from the top side for accessibility, as well as one that opened up that whole back side. Obviously, that bag I think is 35 liter. Actually, I think there's a way to get it down to 30 liters, all the way up to 45 liters. But if they dropped that thing down and made it something more along the lines of the dimensions of this bag, I think the dimensions of this one here, it right now would be, I think, in like a 17 liter, and then it expands up to 20 liter, 22. I forget how it all goes, but they call it a 20 liter, but that's kind of like the in between somewhere. And I would love to see something very similar, just like their travel line, but reduced down. All of these extra zippers. I don't know if you need to be able to tuck and stow the backpack straps like that one does, but just so many of the other features. The accessibility with the full zipper on the back side, not one with that. I'm just not a fan of the way that they went with the zip. With the 4 zippers all on the same track, and then get ways to tuck it away. But also, that goes for tucking away the zippers on your version 3. Please, just make that the zipper pull or whatever, I don't know what you call it, the zipper head there, kind of thing. Make it so that it has that little loop that goes around to the back side, at least up onto the top, so that it's easier and we're not really fighting ourselves with this. Maybe as you have on your travel line, Peak Design, there's a little catch inside, something to loop it around, where you could just have it so that it's just another one of these little lash points, and inside of the bag you can slip it in here and then double back to seal it up so that it doesn't creep back out, which these things once in a while I'll do. I don't want to be overly critical, but I do want to give honest opinions and reviews, things for people to think about, to figure out if this is going to be right for you. So I hope this was informative. Drop me some questions down in the comments below. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, if you have any further questions, things to help me when I'm thinking of doing these videos. If I do need to do a follow-up, or just in future ones need to be thinking about something in a different fashion. I really appreciate that. So please like and subscribe as well. And thank you so much for watching. I hope it was informative. Take care out there.